ChatGPT launching ads, and I'm going to handball this one to you, Eric, because I know you've got some data on it. As I said at the start, usually when these platforms launch, when Twitter ads first came out and when TikTok ads first came out, there was enormous arbitrage, massive opportunity for people to grow their brands. And we all know that search has sort of moved from Google to AI. Everybody's just on Grok or OpenAI and typing in what they're looking for rather than using Google search engines. So how do we make money from this, Eric? What are the stats? What's happening?
Yeah, it's quite interesting because there's been, a few people talking about this. There's some YouTube videos and bits and pieces. And, the CEO once said, ads would be a last resort, right, on ChatGPT.
I think there's a second post there. Talk about it later.
Right. So, but some interesting stats, right? You've got, at the moment, these are give or take numbers, about 900 million active users that are using ChatGPT on a regular basis. But they're predicting that by 2030, a third of the world will be using it, which is a lot of eyeballs. But the issue with, OpenAI and these types of businesses is they're very, very expensive to run, obviously. And again, roundabout numbers, but in 2025, the revenue was roughly about $4.3 billion a year, obviously based on subscriptions, because that's the model, but most people still use it for free. And that's the problem, right? Like there's still a lot of people that are using ChatGPT for free. But their costs are about 7.8 billion. So if you just use those kind of raw numbers, they're about, 3 billion, 3.5 billion or so loss year after year after year at the continued growth. And that loss will just continue because most people will, again, use it for free. So they've done stuff like recently they just hired a lady named Fiji Simo, which was part of the Facebook fabric in regards to helping the business build their ads business within Facebook. Well, OpenAI just hired her. So it's actually happening. And yeah, it's just interesting because I look at this as a couple things, right? One is the user experience, because I think a lot of people use ChatGPT because
as a developer of any kind, I would never.
Right, because for multiple reasons, but one of them is there's no ads. Like, how good is it going onto a platform and you're not being bombarded by ad after ad after ad after ad after, is this an AI video? Is this real? Is this not? You're just, researching information and hopefully it's giving you the most relevant information. So one is, what's the user experience now going to look like? Does that change the trust in the user experience, going, okay, well, is this just giving me the information now because it's just saying this person's paying the most money for the ads to be here? All this type of, how relevant is that going to become? And then the other side to that, obviously, as a business owner, right, the opportunity at hand now that not only can you run Google ads, not only can you run Facebook ads, you're not, Instagram ads, you're now going to be able to run ads through ChatGPT, which, if this is correct, in the next 4 years, a third of the population are actually going to be looking at it. When you actually start looking at numbers, there's going to be a lot of population that are, adolescents and children that wouldn't be on ChatGPT anyways. There's going to be a big portion of the population that won't be on ChatGPT because they're in, third world countries and these types of things. So when you actually look at the active retail client, a lot of them are going to be on this platform. And I think it's just going to be a massive opportunity. I'd love to get your guys' thoughts on, what you guys think of it from a business owner, right? So let's put a business owner cap on now and go, holy shit, when this thing launches, right, what are we going to do?
Like, firstly, like any new ad platform, when they hit the market, you're buying traffic far cheaper than any of the established platforms. So it'll be a land grab to get your footprint in there. But secondly, the ad targeting will be interesting to see how that unfolds. I mean, there are people who use Google and Google search get targeted, and Facebook, and based on your preferences. But with ChatGPT, it's fairly well, anyway, the way I use ChatGPT, it pretty much knows exactly who I am, because I run everything through it. And when I'm having a tough day, I'll have a conversation about, look, Mark's previously put some prompts in quite some time ago. It'll tell you talk about your finances, you talk about everything with it. You probably talk a bit more or chat with ChatGPT a bit more than you do with Google, or a bit more than you do with a hell of a lot more than Facebook. I mean, Facebook's what was a fun place to be. It's now obviously monetized, but and Google's where you used to get your information, but and I laugh at that. But yeah, ChatGPT pretty much it gets all my input first about, as I said, personal finance, business, a whole lot, so that we can see the targeting that would be available from it as a business owner.
I think that I was laughing, James, because I was thinking, at ChatGPT's like the therapist you actually talk to, and Google's like the creepy, bugging CIA outfit that listens to everything anyway. How many times have you had a coffee with somebody and then you open your phone and there's the ad for the very thing that you were just talking about?
Yeah.
Because they listen to everything anyway. I think they're pretty adept. But it is true. I get what you're saying.
I sort of said Facebook used to be a fun place to be. I don't even log into it anymore. I'm pretty anti-social, as everyone sort of knows, is because when you log into these apps now, it's just a fucking wall of ads. Like you get, I think there's now, it's 2 posts, 1 ad, or whatever. I don't know what the ratio is now. It's just like I just been left alone. And to that point about user experience, I'll just go back to that for a minute, Eric. Like we had this conversation last night. We're in the studio late here doing some planning. Was about I could just gone blank. Completely blank. Sorry.
Well, what else?
Sorry. Yeah. So user experience. We're talking about I don't watch TV at all. I don't have anything to do with mainstream media whatsoever. I don't look at any news sites online. I don't scalp any headlines for political stuff. I stay, and that was back. There's a couple of points here going on about from where Adam was going, and Mark was sort of saying, well, politics is relevant. Just the noise of it all. That's why I don't watch TV at all. I don't ever buy the paper. I don't read the thing. I don't have a subscription to the Gold Coast Bulletin. None of it. I just stay right clear of it. Probably a bit ignorant to do so, but I do, or arrogant, which way we're going to call it. So I only watch YouTube, and so from a user experience thing, I pay for YouTube Premium, therefore I have 0 ads. So I'm wondering on the for a paid user, is it a ploy or a play to get people to go from, hey, if you want ad free, pay the $20 a month for ChatGPT, and I do that for YouTube. So I appeal for the fact that I consume everything on YouTube. And I had 0 ads. So, I mean, if that's a user experience, would you think it'd be wise to follow that move?
I think they will definitely start with ads on the free platform first, right? That obviously makes sense, because there's going to be a lot more eyeballs on the free platform than there is going to be on the paid platform. But I also look at it going like how interactive that it could be, right? Just keeping asking questions. Like obviously you're looking at something, then all of a sudden you see this, item that all of a sudden it's like, oh, actually that looks pretty cool. And you could just keep asking, right, the GPT questions about it and dig and have this interactive conversation to the point where you're like, I am sold. You can't have that on Instagram as an example. On Instagram, you're gonna look at it on Instagram, you're gonna click on it on Instagram, you gotta go to the web page, and half the web people's websites are fucking shit. So when you actually want to go and get information on the product, they don't have all the information. You got to dig through, you're scrolling, whereas here, you could just ask all the questions you want. It'll answer to you exactly what you need. And you can just go click, right, straight to purchase, finished. And that's interesting.
As a purchaser, if you know that the answer that the model is giving you based on advertising dollars being spent, how likely are you going to continue to use that model, right? Like I think
the other thing, the trust, right?
Yeah. So do we know how these ads are going to be displayed? Because I honestly think it's a huge red flag. I think I said 6 months ago that of all the LLMs, ChatGPT probably won't make it. Because if these models become commoditized, which they will, there'll be a commodity layer of the AI application stack. Then you're only as good as your training and reference data. And you've got YouTube, Gemini, which has YouTube. You've got Grok, which has you've got Grok, which has X, and now you've got Claude Anthropic, who's like just completely blitzing AI on the corporate agentic front and the coding front. So I think it's I think it's
One more. I think you've got Apple's just doing a deal with Gemini now as well.
Yeah, with Google. Yeah. The iPhone Siri.
Siri, yeah, they missed the boat with the AI revolution. So there, you've got the old tech partnering up with the new tech, and they get forming their alliances. So they'll throw that one last one in there, Mark.
If you kind of have a look at what Claude Anthropic is doing now versus what Copilot does, like Copilot is such a big, ginormous, flaming piece of shit compared to what these guys at these frontier models are able to create, right? And it's like Apple has botched Siri, and I feel like OpenAI is kind of gonna botch their significant lead that they've got because they really don't have an edge versus their competitors at the moment. Their UX is probably better, and I think that thing that's keeping a lot of people there, to James's point before, is the fact that OpenAI knows your history. Like I used to use it every day. Now I hardly use it. I still think everybody needs to be using all of the big models until it becomes clear who's best at doing what. But I wonder from the ad point of view, how the ads will be shown. Like as a business owner, I kind of want to understand how the ads will be shown. And if I'm going to get conversions, like we need to be testing these things. We need to be trying them, because even if you can blow up for a 6-month period, early days, that could be everything that you need to get your business going on the right track, reviews, and to build some momentum. So as business owners, I think we need to really be digging into all of these things and always being at the forefront of these things. But as a user of ChatGPT and OpenAI, I think it's probably a negative thing and probably a bit of a warning sign.
Let's move on from the story, but I'll just close it up by saying I think every business should at the very least be asking the question, like we had SEO, which was to be optimized for search. What about AIO? So, is my business optimized for AI optimization? What does it take to be found and recommended by the AIs organically? That is a key question. And I think we need to wait until we see what they put out, because my gut tells me that the user experience of an AI-powered ad platform could be quite different, and it could be more interactive. But I think the takeaway for the audience today is pay attention fast. Don't be like, in my experience looking back, I remember when Gary Vee first said, there's a thing called TikTok and you need to pay attention. And I looked at TikTok and I went, this is just kids dancing videos. Big mistake. And Gary's been such a bellwether for those kinds of new technologies. So I would be keeping an eye on Gary's content as well around this, because it's he's usually been right. And I think we're going to see a step change in the way advertising is experienced and engaged with, and also be looking at, are you AIO? Is your AIO in order? AI optimization replacing search engine optimization. And there'll be opportunities too. I think some of these young kids will create agents that take all of the response, including the ads, into context and then interpret it for you in a way that you want it to be interpreted.